Hello, 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 beautiful soul. How are you doing? Guess what? It's Thursday. It is World Book Day, and as I am getting ready for the book launch of Kezia Luckett's book in Windsor tomorrow, I wanted to share with you my love of books. And I'm not sharing this just because I'm a publisher and an author, but because books have made such a huge impact in my life. And who knew that there was a World Book Day? Did you? Well, I launched a poll on Facebook and wanted to hear from people about the kinds of books that have most impacted your life, whether they are fiction or good biographies or memoirs. I'd love to hear from you. So let me know in the comments, or you can take that poll on Facebook as well. So what's good in your world? Are you excited, doing anything interesting for International Women's Day, which is tomorrow? I am actually giving a keynote in Windsor in celebration of International Women's Day at an event called Destined for Bigger Things. And it's also includes the launch of the Pay It Forward series. Volume 2 of Notes to My Younger Self. So big shout out to Kezia Luckett and all of the wonderful authors who have so courageously shared their stories. Because it's kind of a big deal. So I want to hear from you. Who is out there watching with us? I know this is not usually a day I go live, so I understand
Volume
that.
2 of
That some of my peoples are like, wait, what? Andrea's here? It's a Thursday. Yes, I'm here, and I'm here with little Lusa. This is Lusa Pincus, as we call her. She is my little precious publishing assistant. And so I wanted to particularly give this little shout out on International or World Book Day because so many people have given me books or suggested books throughout my life. And hey, Karen from Denmark, it's lovely to see you, my friend, and Sarah Brandis. So Karen, I'd love to hear from you. What are some of the books that have impacted your world? I know that you are an avid reader and a fan of personal development. So I'd love to know which books have made the biggest impact in your life. For me, I think early on, one of the books that made a big difference in my life, was given to me. I don't even want to say it's almost 30 years ago, but it was while I was at university. My mother gave me a copy of Deepak Chopra's Seven Laws for Spiritual Success, the Seven Spiritual Laws of Success, and that was kind of like an interesting introduction into the world of how doctors were being published and sharing insights from the Far East. So what about you? Tell me. Are there other books that have made a significant impact in your life? It was cool for me that Deepak book was definitely one that I loved because he is this doctor who was respected and as a physician who was also sharing the spiritual side of life. And as I was writing my keynote that I'm giving tomorrow in England, one of the things that I'm sharing is that I often felt like I couldn't combine all of my worlds into one. So Deepak was a huge inspiration for me, and then I later got some mentoring from him and traveled to a couple of events with Deepak and learned a lot from him that has impacted not only my personal life, but also how I run Make Your Mark Global as a publisher. So super, super excited. So I've got a comment here from Sarah who says that she reads fiction, something weird like China Mayville or something sci-fi. Ooh, what's your sci-fi fave? But your faves have been self-help for many years. Sarah Brandis says, it started with Fiona Harold's Be Your Own Life Coach. And I met Fiona, thanks to you pointing her out. Well, I guess I would have seen her anyway, but that was 2 years ago, right, Sarah, when we were in London for Expert Empires, yes, where I was there with Ryan Dice, Gary Vaynerchuk, and Nick James. Yeah, so Fiona was there, fabulous. And so you're saying that Fiona's book got you on the path to personal development, and you don't know where you'd be without it. Oh, that's wonderful. Yeah, she was a bigger deal for you than Gary Vee. I love it. That's hilarious. Hello, Charlotta. Thank you so much for your insights on this little adorable baby. We have so many beautiful authors at Make Your Mark Global. I don't know, Sarah, if we've counted up. I think we have 16 countries so far that we've published, nearly 60 authors from all around the world. And I feel like one of the things that is like a common thread that you will hear from Make Your Mark Global authors is a big shout out to Louise Hay, the late, great Louise Hay. That was another book that really was a pivotal book for me. Well, let me tell you which one. That skinny little blue covered book, You Can Heal Your Life. I remember somebody giving me that. I was already a doctor at that point, but I was very early in my journey of really accepting and talking about out loud this connection with mind and body and how our emotions, if they're not expressed, can get blocked in the body. Things that I certainly learned in Chinese medicine. But Louise Hay's book, where she describes the specific reason, metaphysical or emotional cause for some of these symptoms and the affirmation to get beyond it. That was pivotal. It was my dear friend, Alexander Hall, who really, he just gave me a new perspective on embracing it. It's like, why should this be considered woo-woo or strange? So there you go. So big, big shout out to Louise Hay for the work that she has done for so many people, myself included. So I'd love to hear from you. Hello, Donozio. Good to see you there. And Charlotta says Michael Beckwith's books. Absolutely. So which one, Charlotta? Which ones? Plural. Maybe the one on life visioning. You're definitely a visionary, Charlotta, who is a contributor to this book here, Magic and Miracles. So what is there a particular book that you continuously either recommend to people or give out as gifts? Spiritual Liberation, says Charlotta. Fabulous. Are there other books that you've given out as gifts? I think one gift that I regularly give is The Prophet by my favorite poet philosopher, Khalil Gibran from Lebanon. That's just remains a favorite of mine. I love the beautiful, succinct, poetic way that he shares these philosophical and spiritual insights on life. And Sarah, you've just shared a book, Fear Cure, Cultivating Courage. Mm-hmm. So super excited. I'm super excited that I'd love to hear if any of you have already gotten this beautiful book by Kezia Luckett. It's called, I'm going to show you, Notes to My Younger Self. I'm going to make that bigger. Notes to My Younger Self. We at Make Your Mark Global partnered up with Kezia and the Women of Contribution movement to join forces with her publishing arm, which brought forth this book, Notes to My Younger Self, where in this particular book we have 28 authors who have basically written a note to their younger self. There's various passages that are the same throughout. And it's really beautiful because you find that if you could give yourself wisdom and courage, your adult, empowered version of you, if you were to go back and give yourself some advice, what would that be? And do you even think the younger version of you would have accepted it? I don't know. So many of us in the psychology world do all of this, dialoguing with our younger self and healing the wounds of our inner child. But it's really powerful stuff. And one of the things that we say at Make Your Mark Global is it's never too late to become the hero of your own epic life story. The reason why we publish now group books, several a year, from Life After Trauma, Magic and Miracles, Time to Rise, Turning Points, and now the book with Kizia and her authors. We publish them because when each of us is willing to share a little bit more of our story, there's a great healing that takes place for us internally. And yes, that healing is something that we can pay forward, we can pass on to people around the world. And I would have never guessed that sharing my personal life as a doctor, kind of trained. Well, there's two pieces of it. I was kind of brought up in a family culture of silence and dignity. My very British upbringing from my mother was about keeping things very, very private. And then my role as a doctor, I was constantly told, you look too young to be a doctor. So I always felt like I had to prove myself. And so I would never say anything about myself, and I would certainly never share anything that I considered to be a weakness. But it was really in doing one of the group books that I participated in, called Heart to Heart, The Path to Wellness, that sharing my story opened up a whole new world for me with connecting with other people who had also either experienced depression or felt like they were in the wrong careers. And so I feel like the work that we do at Make Your Mark Global in publishing these kinds of books is we're not only healing ourselves and gaining empowerment, but we're also enabling other people to recognize that you are not alone. Just because you've had stuff go on in your life does not mean you're weak or lame or bad or wrong. So, and of course, if you want to publish with us, we are open for contributions to two books. One is about resilience. I'll put that link here. Maybe Sarah can put up a bit.ly link for the other one, because I don't have time. I'm going to read some comments here. So lovely Charlotta says that she gives magic and miracles to her students. And Charlotta does amazing work with teaching people how to hear and communicate with animals and the souls of animals. And her work is so magical, miraculous, and inspiring to me that we're teaming up on, well, am I allowed to say Charlotta? I won't say anything. And Sarah says that Priya Kapoor, the lovely coach and publisher of the Give Yourself Permission anthology, she got you into Marianne Williamson. Ah, awesome. I love that. And Charlotta says, Anita Morjani, You Are Enough is another favorite. And Linda Kohanov, Riding Between the Worlds. Ooh, spirituality and horses. And of course, one of our other authors from Time to Rise says, Time to Rise. Hello, Carol Fisher-Taylor in Canada. Wonderful, wonderful. Oh, sweet. So Sarah has got a link for you, which is really, really long. Maybe you can make a bit.ly link and share it with me, and I'll post it. But that would also give you a way to find out about all of our co-authoring projects. So we believe that you probably have at least one story in you, if not many stories, that could help people. I personally have this mission that I believe my soul has been given to impact 100 million people. I'm like, when I kind of got this downloaded vision of reaching 100 million people, I'm like, wait a minute, how? And it really is through the work of empowering other authors and healers and light workers, so that if we can empower you to get your message out there, that's going to have a ripple effect. So that if I'm touching, 100 authors a year and helping them reach thousands and millions, we'll get to that 100 million in the next, 10 years, maybe sooner. But yeah, that would be awesome. So Karen says there's so many books, but you haven't finished them. except a Danish one about controlling your thoughts and a dialogue with your inner child and adults. That is what I think is so helpful. There you go. Thank you, Sarah, for this bit.ly link. You can go to bit.ly to co-author, and you can learn about all of the co-author opportunities that we have at Make Your Mark Global. One is about burnout and resilience. I've experienced burnout. I know my cohort here, many of us have experienced it. Of course, Sarah is this crazy marathoner, but she's experienced burnout, and we decided that we wanted to get together several stories from people who have not only experienced burnout, but they have developed one of the top 10 traits of highly resilient people. These 10 traits are really what I've researched over the last 15 years, and they're seen very consistently in people who bounce back. That whether it was an illness or infection that knocked somebody down, or a loss like bankruptcy or losing a loved one or a job or a marriage, there's something about these 10 traits that allow us to get knocked around but to come back up, and sometimes even stronger than ever. And so we are inviting people to share a story of resilience, of how you have overcome burnout or prevented burnout. I love what Oleo says, books are like the internet of my childhood. Yes, that's what it was for me. I used to just love curling up with the book. And now I just consume them not only for my work, but because I have this passion for just accumulating more knowledge and understanding how the mind works and culture works. So that's one of our group books. And the other one is about manifesting love. So we want to hear from people who are sure that you have manifested love in some sort of, magical or notable way. The goal with this book is that I want people to know that no matter what age you are, no matter what has happened in your life, there is the possibility of you finding love. I mean, there's over 7 billion people on the planet, and we're no longer, limited by geography. So, some of the stories that we found in Magic and Miracles from some of our authors, like Miriam Thiel Alberts, who discovered that her horse, communication from her horse, led her to reconnect with the love of her life. So she ended up getting the prince and the white horse and her happily ever after ending. And Lena van Heiselberg, who also shared, this story in the book of how these magical occurrences led her first to meet her now husband, Lars, and how they manifested a house. So I know that sounds like, weird manifestations, but reading these kinds of stories in these kinds of books, for me, just tells us that there is so much power and mystery and mysticism in this universe that can help us in our healing path, in our manifestation path, and that's what we're up to at Make Your Mark Global. So check out that bit.ly link to co-author one of my next books. And hello, Margareta. Good to see you here. And Oleo Loki says, Hardy Boys and Nancy Drew. Oh man, you are taking me back. Yes, those were like the books of my teenage years. So I would love to hear from anyone else. Did you answer the poll that I put out there? And yes, Sarah, I also read Charlotte's Web when I was a kid. And yes, we know that you manifested your dear hubby, beautiful Margareta. And that's really why we were doing this book about manifesting love. We want people to know that, like what Margareta did, she actually had a whole process and a ritual that she went through when she decided she was ready to manifest love. One of our other friends from the European Transformational Teachers Gathering, this woman named Ofje, she just connected with me and shared a beautiful story about how she met her husband. And at the time, she was like, I don't want to hear it, I don't want to hear it, I don't want to hear it. She was in resistance, and then thank God for his persistence and the magic maybe of the universe. They were able to come together and have been together over 30 years. And like stories like that give a single girl like me hope. So I'm hoping that this book is going to do the same for people as well. So if you're interested, please do check out the link. So that's it. I just really wanted to say hello before I fly to England tomorrow. I'm flying in for International Women's Day to celebrate with Kezia Luckett and the authors of the Pay It Forward series, Volume 2. I will also see one of our Time to Rise authors, the author of The Ultimate Self-Help Book, Yvette Taylor. She also contributed to Kezia's book, the first volume of Notes to My Younger Self. So she's going to be presenting in Windsor tomorrow as well. So it's going to be a powerful Friday. One of our other authors, the beautiful Helen Rebello, who wrote The Magical Unfolding, she will be in Sussex delivering a message as well. So it's going to be a really powerful weekend for women. We still love the men, don't worry. We're not hating, but it's so beautiful that so many women are rising up. We are sharing our voices. We are sharing our gifts with the world. So I'm excited. I might pop on live and try to say hello to you when I get to England tomorrow. But in the meantime, please feel free to share this video with anyone else who you think might want to author a book with us. And stay tuned, because my company, Make Your Mark Global, is doing another partnership deal with my other company, Innate Vitality. Because at Innate Vitality, we're blending East meets West. It's functional medicine and prevention at its best for mind, body, soul, relationships, and environment. And at Innate Vitality, our goal is really to empower the world to know that you have so much control over your health and well-being, more than the most powerful doctor, surgeon, medicine, or procedure. And so what we'll be doing with this other group book project, it will be about the different modalities and healing pathways to deal with some of the strangest or most challenging diseases and syndromes. Things like ADHD, things like autism, things like fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue syndrome, Lyme disease. As a medical doctor, I've seen so many people that were referred to my wellness center in DC when I was there. And I would just be collecting kind of the cases that nobody could either solve, or they had tried conventional treatments and they weren't working, or the conventional treatments were too toxic. So coming into our wellness center, where we combined nutrition, psychology, spirituality, meditation, mindfulness, positive psychology, and Chinese medicine, it was just a beautiful way for people to get the holistic 360 multi-dimensional healing, including from my dear friend Selena Hadlock, she had just kind of I don't know how to describe it, the magic of angels, I feel like, who were on her side, guiding her as she was giving nutrition advice. But I've really seen that through functional nutrition, functional medicine, there are so many ways to treat autoimmune conditions and some of these neurologic conditions that we want to share in this book, including holistic dentistry, from our dear friend Karen Joy Almond, who's in Time to Rise, as well as Leslie Van Oostenbrugge, who has a book coming out this year about emotional alignment. So it's exciting times for us at Make Your Mark Global, because we are really expanding the types of books that we do. And what better way to tell you about it than on World Book Day? So be sure to check out this link right here, this co-author link, so you can find out about the new books that we have coming out. And you might become one of our newest published authors this year, with all the bells and whistles of marketing support, editing, professional development. And for all of our authors, we are inviting all of the authors of all of our books to Cannes, here in the south of France, this October for a special red carpet celebration. Yeah, we're going all Hollywood on you, because I have to bring in my Hollywood roots, you know what I'm saying? So my friends, I wish you a wonderful rest of your Thursday. I'm sending you much love from the sunny south of France, and I look forward to connecting with you again soon. Remember, your voice matters. Your presence matters. You are truly a gift to the world. So share your presence with passion. Much love. Bye.